Fellow film fans, what up? It's your boy Tay, and this is Tay Talks Talkies. And unfortunately, as we speak, there's a hurricane hitting Florida, Hurricane Ian. I hope everyone in Florida is okay. The president's declared a state of emergency for Florida. Ron DeSantis said that it's the worst flood that he's ever seen in Florida, so I hope everyone's okay, and I hope that the damage and the casualties are nil, or at least as close to nil as possible. Now, I decided to make a video ranking the top 5 greatest natural disaster flicks of all time. However, that is an extremely weak genre of films. I'm talking slim pickings. I'm talking you got to Thanksgiving dinner late and all your cousins, your fat cousins, ate all the good stuff and you're left with debris. You're eating debris, and that's where we're at with disaster flicks. But from those slim pickings, I made a top 5, and I hope you enjoy. Starting with number 5, 2009's 2012. Written and directed by Roland Emmerich. Starring John Cusack, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Woody Harrelson, Danny Glover. This film is entertainment. It's pure entertainment. It's just got CGI, giant scenes. It's a $200 million budget, and it delivers a lot of visual stimulation without a lot of plot. So if you're looking for plot, this is not the flick. If you're looking for plot, this is not the genre. That's why it's so devoid of quality. But had to put this as my number 5 because Roland Emmerich is a master at making a disaster flick. Next, number 4, Roland Emmerich, yet again, the master himself at disaster flicks. We have 2004's The Day After Tomorrow, starring Dennis Quaid, Jake Gyllenhaal, Emmy Rossum. I just feel like, even though it's a $75 million less budget, Roland delivered a more quality film because it has more character, it has more plot. Instead of just mindlessly running from one cataclysmic event to another cataclysmic event, they're actually taking time to take in what's happening, they're discussing what's happening, and you really feel more involved in what's going on. That's why I have to put The Day After Tomorrow ahead of 2012 as my number 4 greatest disaster flick of all time. Next, number 3. The year's 1998. They have 2 asteroid flicks come out within a couple months span of each other. This is the one that I feel like is a little weaker, and that's Deep Impact. Directed by Mimi Leder, starring Robert Duvall, Tia Leone, a young Elijah Wood. We have Morgan Freeman as the president. I think asteroid threats in general are gonna make for the best films because they have the most anticipation. There's a factor of you can visually see it coming in a sense, and there's that looming threat. So it drives the film really well, and I think that's why Deep Impact and the next film I'll talk about, that's why they're ahead of movies like Day After Tomorrow in 2012. The sacrifice the characters make, it really does have emotional weight and it makes you feel something. I just don't feel as entertained, despite it being a more realistic. Neither films are necessarily realistic, but one complaint I've always heard is that Deep Impact is a more realistic one than the next film. When it comes to disaster flicks, especially ones where people are blowing up asteroids, we're not looking for necessarily authenticity, we're looking for entertainment. And that's why this next film is ahead of Deep Impact. Number 2, we have 1998 again, as I was just talking about, another asteroid flick. This time it's Michael Bay's, and that is Armageddon. Starring some, small actors, Bruce Willis, Billy Bob Thornton, Ben Affleck, Liv Tyler, some small actors. It's a great film as far as entertainment. It's gonna keep you eating the popcorn. It's gonna really keep you engaged, your pupils dilated, and you're gonna be pulled into the ridiculous action going on. They need to blow up an asteroid, so they go to oil drillers as the people they're relying on for the fate of humanity. It's just ridiculous fun, and that's what we're looking for in a disaster flick. That's why that genre exists. You're not looking for intense character dramas. You're not going to necessarily get a Citizen Kane of disaster flicks, although that would be interesting for someone to try to do. But it's going to be mostly mindless entertainment, and that's what Armageddon delivers, and it delivers it in multiplicity. It gives you so many entertaining moments. Definitely, if we're talking about the greatest disaster flicks, Armageddon's got to be right there near the top. And now, the number 1 greatest disaster flick of all time is... This Is the End, 2013. I don't care what anyone says. Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, they did it again. They wrote and directed it. It is hilarious. It is entertaining. It is everything you want out of a disaster flick. and I will watch it over and over again till my days are done. That film, although it's a biblical driven plot at the end, it's really about wildfires, intense wildfires destroying all of LA, the surrounding area, and presumably the entire world. It has an all-star roster of actors in it. Craig Robinson, James Franco, Danny McBride, Jay Baruchel, Seth Rogen. It's just hilarious person after hilarious person. And they're being put in hilarious situation after hilarious situation. And the way they're reacting is so hilarious, and it feels genuine to those actual people, which is a whole nother layer of that film, which makes it so entertaining to me. It's actually based on the real people. Obviously caricatures of them, but still, it's them. And I really feel like I'm just hanging out with the gang. I'm a part of the world ending, and we're all going through it together. Having laughs, scared. It's ridiculous. It's fun. It's everything you want out of a disaster flick. And that's why This Is the End is the best disaster flick of all time. Let me know what you guys think. As always, I know my list is right, but I like hearing everyone else's. Like, subscribe, and tune in next time. Peace.